Evening, everyone. It's 5:40, and this is your closing video. It's number 593, and it was really kind of an interesting day today. Um, Made me think I had entered some sort of a time warp when I saw the closing averages numbers. Right up until the time I got down to the transports and the Russell. So the Dow was up $60 or 0.19%. NASDAQ was up $36, just a little over 0.25%, and the S&P was up $1.58 or 0.04%. Then we get to the Russell, up 36.94, 1.77%, excuse me, and so obviously clearly the leader of the day, followed closely by the transports, which were up 182, or 1.42%. Market internals were strong, 2-to-1 up in the NYSE, 2.2-to-1 up in the NASDAQ. So on yesterday, where the NASDAQ was up substantially more, the internals were not as strong as they are today. And with all of these light changes, the volume was actually higher. As far as economic news, we had the JOLTS number, which is job openings, at 6,527,000, which was slightly down from last month's 6,652,000, but a pretty healthy number. What was not a healthy number, of course, as I mentioned this morning, was the small business optimism number, which was 95.9 versus 101.4. Tomorrow we have the CPI, Treasury budget, beige book for January, and mortgage applications. After the close today, we had earnings for KB Home. It was a beat, top and bottom line. The stock had closed at $34.15, up $1.11, and is currently trading in late hours at $35.50, up $1.79, or 5.3%. There were a bunch of upgrades, and I'm just going to give you the percentage changes. Wells Fargo up 2%, Chuck Schwab up 1.6%, CVX, which is Chevron, up 1.9%, but the standout was Oxy, 22.62, up 254, or 12.7%. This morning we were talking about Facebook purging 70,000 QAnon memberships, and the stock was trading at that time around 256, just down slightly. It fell and closed 251.45, down 542, or 2.1%. We were short this stock, and frankly, I'm still glad that I sold the 260 puts at $6.60 after I had seen them go from $5 just over where we bought them all the way down to about $1.75. So $6.60 looked pretty attractive, and I make no apologies for taking that gain. Twitter, after being down yesterday and being weak this morning, continued to fall and closed at $46.98, down another $1.20, or 2.45%. Boston Scientific, which had a miss this morning, both top and bottom line, and gave somewhat poor guidance, was trading this morning pre-market at $35.14. It actually was lower and then rallied a bit, and while it was down $1.12 or 3%, it did close higher than this morning at $35.32. Becton Dickinson was higher this morning, 264, and that's exactly where it closed. 264 up 689 or 2.68%. The interesting one was Zoom, who did a 1.5 billion share offering, and this morning when we were talking, it was 326.71, down 11 or 3.3%. I would guess that the deal went pretty well because the stock rallied from 326 and managed to close 358 and a half, up 20.78 or 6.15%. So that's a really healthy gain. Also, we had a beat top and bottom line for ACI, which is Albertsons. The company's only been public again for a short while, and while the numbers were good and it was up 63 cents at 17.38 this morning, it actually got to 18 and a quarter, but fell all the way back to close at 17.07, still up 32 cents, but kind of a disappointment overall for the day, considering where it was. Okay, the chart on the screen is the oil, and as I've been saying now for weeks, this is the area that I expected to have some trouble. The moving average here is closed at 53.22, and the commodity closed at 53.21. So, we're getting into all of this supply in here and the moving average. I will probably take a look at maybe the SCO, which is the leveraged short on this, to see if we get a bounce to the upside and a close on or near the low or down on the day. I would want to take advantage of that. We've had now a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is a 12-week move from a low of $33.64 to $53. That's a little excessive, and it's figuring on everything going right, and frankly, I'm not so sure that that's what happens. The gold was down on the day at 1844. Just show you what that's doing. And I don't think it did any damage whatsoever, and it was down $6.60. But I don't think that it's really much of a problem, and the reason that I say that is that it actually is a bit higher again. We're testing this 1800. The low here is 1817. The high was 1864. So I'm not terribly disturbed about that. And the reason, as I said, is because the rest of the metals are running ahead of it, which is not all that uncommon. The silver closed up 15 cents. Copper, which can move in either direction, versus the gold, was up a little, but the platinum was also up 23. It had actually been about up 35 during the day, so I'm not terribly disturbed with that. The other thing that I'm keying off of is the dollar, and after the rally, which I thought could possibly get as high as 92, seemed to peter out today at 90 3/4 and closed down on the day again. So we closed 90.06, and that was down about 38 cents. So I'm going to guess that we may get a little bit of a lift from all of that. Okay, there's also going to be a link. I don't know if I'll have it tonight or whether it'll be in the pre-opening for tomorrow, but we had a guest on the radio show, and it's a stock that I have mentioned before, and we have traded before Generex Biotech, and as you can see, it was consolidating here for the last, let's see, this is September, so September, October, November, December, January. So it consolidated for 5 months and started back up, and today closed down just under a cent. But for the week, it's had a range of a quarter to a high. Let's see. Quarter on the low, 50 cents on the high. I did take a little bit of profit today in the 47-cent area, but if we get back down to these moving averages, maybe 35 cents here, I would buy back the shares. But we did have a very good interview, and I will put that up as soon as I get it from the radio station. All right, everyone, have a great evening. Hope you had a good day. Oh, we also bought a little Pfizer today. This chart is really incredible, only because on the daily, we have something that I rarely see quite this clearly, and that is this saucer pattern where we have the highs here at 38, we have the low here at 36 and a quarter or so, but as you can see in this purple line, which is the 5-day, we have a really nice little saucer, and in fact we also bounced off at the bottoms. We never closed below the 200-day moving average. We bounced off it here, and we bounced off it this morning. So we are long the Pfizer February monthly calls, which expire on the 19th. The Pfizer 39 calls, we paid 66 cents for them, and I believe they closed 68 cents. So nothing overwhelming, but if this starts to move and breaks above 38, I believe we will see 40 to 42. All right, everyone, have a good evening. I'll be back first thing in the morning.